I was always a numbers, math person, so I always gravitated towards numbers related things. So I decided on accounting. I was like, yeah, it's local. They have a great business school, so I settled on Temple. If you're an accounting student, it's like you get a nice mix of learning some of the principles and like the tax laws, but they try to work in some like real world examples. That way you kind of have like an idea of what you're getting into as you get out of college and things like that.
Welcome to the latest edition of Adeptus On-Air, and today we have a special guest in Frank Gallo. He is a senior accounting major at my alma mater, Temple University, and he was the first recipient of the James E. Walker Scholarship that I had proudly at my school. So congrats on that first and foremost, and Frank, and thanks for joining the show.
Of course, thank you for the scholarship. It was very generous of you to give back to your alma mater, and it's feel very honored to be selected, for putting in the hard work. It feels great to be recognized for it.
Absolutely, man. Well deserved. Your credentials speak for itself, and we'll get into all that. But absolutely, man. Proud to do it, and thanks for joining the show. So, Frank, for the audience, just tell us a little bit about your journey to Temple, and kind of what led you into the accounting industry as an accounting major to study at Temple University.
Yep. So grew up, I was always a numbers, math person, so I always gravitated towards numbers related things. So I decided on accounting. A lot of my family went there, like my brother went there, my mom went there, so it was kind of like a legacy school. Figured it was nice. I commute, so it wasn't like pretty good commute. So I was like, yeah, it's local. They have a great business school, so I settled on Temple, and grateful that I did.
That's awesome, man. When I saw your credentials last year when they picked you for a scholarship, very high GPA, in the 4.0 range, and you have a lot of experience, even work experience at your age, which is very impressive. How do how did you hear about the scholarship? How did they select you? Just give us a little thought on the process from the other end.
I don't think I heard about it. The first I saw it was I went on for to pay my bill for the semester, and I went on to my financial aid package, and I saw this. I was like, what is that? And then I got the email. I forget who, someone sent me the email trying to introduce us. I was like, that's awesome. It was awesome to see. It was just like I said, like just to be recognized for like all the hard work and sacrifices you put in over like course of a couple of years. It felt very rewarding, and I was very grateful.
That's awesome. And Frank, I was on Temple's campus, 20 plus years ago, as a college student. What is it like being a college student today? We didn't have social media. We didn't have, some of these other, existential pressures that are outside of just, studying and getting grades and going to class. What is it like being a college student today in 2025?
It's like, I love their campus. It's very nice. I'm a commuter, and I only have to be in there like a couple days a week, so I'm not up there a ton. But it's a great campus. It's very nice. Being an accounting student, it's like you get a nice mix of learning some of the principles and like the tax laws, but they try to work in some like real world examples that way you kind of have like an idea of what you're getting into as you get out of college and things like that. But I've enjoyed my time at Temple. It's a great place. I've had some great professors, so definitely recommend going to Temple.
Absolutely. And your time at Temple is wrapping up soon in a matter of months here. What are some of your career interests? I know you probably put a lot of thought into the next step. What are some of your career interests and where you feel you want to go initially coming out of college?
Yes, obviously I'm graduate with 139 credits, I believe. So goal is to get those 150, and then I'm working right now part-time at a small accounting firm, but I'm looking elsewhere just to see what else is out there. I feel like I'd be doing myself a disservice if I didn't at least look elsewhere just to see what else is out there. So my plan would be to get that 150, and then after busy season next year, sit for the CPA and take those exams. So right now I have two offers, so I'm just kind of reviewing them and seeing where I want to go, where I feel like I best fit at.
I was gonna say, if you can dig into that a little bit, don't need to know the specifics of the offers, but what do you weigh? Just through the eyes of a 21-year-old, what do you weigh in terms of the offers? Is it money? Is it opportunity? Is it location? Is it mute? What goes into your thought process as you go through this process over the next couple months?
I mean, I'd be lying if I said money it didn't play any factor, but money a little bit, but then like also like the benefits, like the one I'm looking at, they offer CPA bonus, they give you time off to take the CPA, they help you study for it by paying for like the package to study for it. And then really like the benefits and like the network. I feel like staying where you're at for so long, like at the firm I've been working there since I think summer of 22, maybe summer 21. I feel like it's hard to grow when you stay at one place just because you're working with the same people and you kind of get comfortable. So I love working there, but it's just I just want to maybe expand my network and just see where the next step could take me.
Yeah, it's definitely a big decision, coming up, and that's great because you already have offers on the table, so you're ahead of the curve on that. So congrats on that, and well deserved. And yeah, just think about the best fit for you, and not just the best fit today, but the best fit, 3, 5 years ahead, and things like that, and where you can grow. So that's awesome. So Frank, I know you don't have a ton of free time, and you're always on the go. But when you do have free time, what do you like? How you like to spend it? What do you like to do in your free time?
So, like I said, I'm a big Philly sports fan. So I like watching, going to games, watching sports, hanging out with friends, working out. I got into golfing a couple of years ago. So not very good, but it's just, I love golfing. It's just great to get out there for a couple hours and just have, just like the only thing you think about for a few hours. I actually, played yesterday before it got too cold and too windy. I went out like 8 a.m. There's no one on the course. I played by myself in like 2 hours. So that it's always nice to get around a golf, man.
That's awesome. And your Eagles just won the Super Bowl, so that's great. Where did you watch the game? How did you celebrate? What was that like?
I watched it at a friend's house around me. We were going to go into the city for the game, but I was like, I want to be able to actually sit down and enjoy the game, and not have to worry about anything. But then went into the city after the game to celebrate, and then obviously the parade went. That was awesome. Long day though. You started early. Like we took a 6 a.m. train and got down there at like by 7 there till like 3 p.m. So long day.
And I remember when I was in Philly. I mean, the sports market. I mean, that's maybe the most rabid sports market, out there. I interned at WIP. I did a lot of stuff in the sports media out there. Has it changed at all, or is it's still the same? Or I mean, Philly fans are famous for infamous for booing Santa Claus and all kinds of stuff. Is it has it softened a little bit, or is it pretty much been the same passed down to the next generation?
I think it's still the same. Maybe the Eagles might get a little pass just because they just won, but everyone else, you hear the boo birds pretty early on in the season and early on in games. I'd like WIP. I listen a lot, so you get the callers calling in complaining about this and that all the time. But no, it's a passionate fan base. They work hard, so they feel like they should be able to watch their sports teams perform on a high level. But what can you do?
That's awesome. I wanted to ask you about, this technology and, AI is a big thing. This out there. You being a 20-something generation, I'm just curious of just your view on AI. Just what do you think? Do you think it'll impact, the accounting industry in what way, positive, negative? And just what's your general thought on it? That's a hot topic in our nation and in the world, really. So I'm just curious to get, the 20-something point of view on it.
So in school and work, we haven't used it a ton just because I'm in like a small firm, and school they haven't really used it a ton as well for accounting classes. But I think it'll be like a positive in the fact that I think it'll help streamline a lot of processes and automate some tasks that are maybe a little mundane. But I think overall, I don't think it'll impact accounting, but I don't think it'll have a great impact to the point where it's taking people's jobs. I think over time it'll kind of be like accountants will work alongside of AI to kind of help speed up things. But I think accountants will always pretty much be in demand just because it's some of the things like data analysis and tax prep and stuff like that. I don't think they could replace it.
So man, and Frank, what are some of your, midterm goals, like 3 to 5 year goals, in the industry? Obviously, I know you spoke about getting your CPA license and things like that in the next year or so. What are some of the things you want to accomplish in the accounting world?
Yeah, like I said, CPA, and then just really like finding a firm that I feel comfortable with and just growing at that firm, moving up the corporate ladder and really just being seen as a leader. I find that like important, being respected and like being someone can come talk to when they need help with something or things like that. So I think it's very important to find like your niche and just stick with it for a little bit and just work hard. So I'm looking forward to that, getting started in the real world.
So man, and what are some of the tough questions that you received in the job interview process, just going through, because I'm sure there's probably some people in the audience that, at any age really that are going through, career hunting, job hunting, things like that. What are some of the, I guess, good questions, bad questions, tough questions, however you want to answer that?
Yeah, that obviously asked about like the your background, uh, where are you from? One of the not really a tough one, but the big one is why here? What do you like about this firm? Things like that. So it's important to research the firm and look at what they do, maybe some of their clientele, the industry, things like that. Like that way you have questions to ask them. It's not just they're asking you questions. I feel like a good interview, you want to kind of have, it almost feels more like a conversation than you're just being questioned. So that was definitely a big one. Uh, Other than that, really not a lot of tough questions. It's kind of like how do you manage your time? Just because I was working part time and in school, so things like that for the most part.
Awesome. And Frank, when you do get hired, what are some of the things that you feel your strengths are, in terms of tax and accounting and things like that? What are some of the areas that you feel you're going to help a CPA firm in day one?
Yeah, so I want to just continue to learn and take on like in school you learn a lot, but it's you really got to get hands on to really understand and figure it out. Like I feel like it's hard to just with what you learn in school just to take it right to your firm. I feel like getting that training and really learning and understanding what you're doing is very important. And I feel like I'm a great people person. So like I communicate well. So working on a team is that's something they're big on. So you want to be able to collaborate with others and be able to communicate back and forth with your clients and the people you work with in an effective way.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'll give you a quick tip, just from my perspective, and this is the perfect time because everybody's going through it right now in our industry. Being very good under pressure, I think is something that's important. So some people, can work efficiently when everything is going right. But obviously this time of year, with tax deadlines and pressure and the bullets are flying, so to speak. If you're able to kind of maintain that same demeanor, that same calm, that same level of efficiency and effectiveness, I think those are things that um, that really stand out and that you want on your team. And sometimes you don't really know until that time comes, until April 1st, and 20 things to do, and you got to get all 20 things done, and it's so yeah, just calm under pressure and the ability to handle. And that's something that I learned in the journalism industry. Just being on live TV and live radio, there's no take backs. There's no, oh, I messed up on, Sports Center. Let me try this again, in 30 minutes. There's, you only get one shot, and you got to be on time and, all those things. So timeliness, and I would say, the ability to handle pressure, to work well in pressure situations are two important things. So make sure you develop that. Would be my advice. I see the part of my take in the background. That's a big sports show under Barstool. It's really, for the younger generation, it's really kind of taking hold. You have a banner on your window, so I assume you're a big fan of that. Just tell me about that a little bit.
Yeah, I started listening a while back. It's just, I like how it's sports. It's sports. It's supposed to be entertainment. So they don't take it very serious. Like, they have some good guests on, but I just like the way they kind of bounce around from sports to just like the pop culture industry, things like that. And they have fun with it. Like, you go on, like, you see like these shows like First Take and all these other shows. They're just sitting there and arguing points that it's like, I don't care. Like, they have like the GOAT debate like every other week between LeBron and Michael Jordan. I'm like, you can have two GOATs. It's fine. Like, I'm a LeBron guy, but like, it doesn't matter. Like, they take it. It's just, they have fun with it. Like, it's, you can listen to it and entertain. I like listening to, like, at work, I'll throw an AirPod in and I'll listen to it while I'm working, just to kind of pass the time while I'm working. And it kind of it makes you realize you're not working that long when you're listening to it, kind of. So it's nice.
Yeah, well said. To keep things lighthearted and not too serious. So many people take their sports so serious, but it's supposed to be, supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be entertainment. It's supposed to be secondary, but so many people take it serious. Frank, where can people find you? I know you have 2 job offers already, but hey, maybe there's more on the way. Where can people find you on LinkedIn? Or social media? If they want to bring you in for an interview or things of that nature once you graduate in a few months.
Yeah, my LinkedIn, I think it's just Frank Gallo, so you can find me there. Instagram, obviously, it's not very professional, but it's a fgallo.27. Don't really post on there a ton. It's just, I usually use it to just kind of like, it's a good way to keep up with people and news, things like that. Like, I feel like I get most of my news off like Instagram or now X, formerly Twitter, things like that. So yeah, you can find me there.
Awesome, Frank. And Frank Gallo, one of the future stars in our industry, in the accounting industry, and coming from Temple University, which I'm very proud of. So congrats again, on the scholarship. Congrats on the job hunt, and future congrats on accepting your first job. Very proud of you and happy for you, Frank. And thanks for sharing your wisdom on Adeptus On-Air.
Of course. Thank you so much, James, for the scholarship. And I had a great time on the podcast. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to Adeptus On-Air. If you like this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. The views and opinions by the podcast speakers and guests are solely their own and do not reflect the opinions of Adeptus. This podcast provides general information only and is not intended to constitute advice.